Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. So DICE have put out double experience this weekend, although it's not gone off without a few hitches, so we're going to talk about that. Bots are also returning to the verified portal experiences, and then they've also finally vaulted or disabled the lock guided missile for the IFVs. It's kind of a half fix in my opinion, but we'll get into that. As always, if you guys enjoy the content on the channel, hit the sub button, hit the like button, that is always appreciated. And thank you guys as always so much for your support. So let's begin here with the lock-on guided missile bug for the IFVs. So for those of you who weren't aware, and I'm sure most of you are aware, the IFVs had a problem or a bug where if they would target a painted vehicle, a laser designated vehicle, their missiles would go straight through the flares or the countermeasures and outright one-shot that vehicle, giving you very little chance to defend. And this has been in the game since day one, and DICE have finally sort of fixed the issue, and we'll get into that. So they say we've temporarily disabled the lock guided missile, the MR missile, for the infantry fighting vehicle as we work to address inconsistencies witnessed with this vehicle's countermeasures. This change is live and will apply with your next patch onward. We are aiming to have this issue resolved in an update next week. And what they wrote here is actually a little misleading because they said it's to address inconsistencies with this vehicle's countermeasures, but it's nothing to do with the IFV's countermeasures, it is to do with the flares on helicopters and jets. Now, don't get me wrong, I think this is a decent band-aid solution until they can resolve this bug, because what this means is that people won't be able to solo this anymore, right? You can't sit in an IFV, paint the target by yourself, and then use the MR missile by switching seats. But unfortunately, there are also several other sources for missiles that will go straight through flares if the target is laser designated, such as the AGM on the gunner seat of the attack helicopter, and they're not disabling all of those things. So I think people will still find a way to do this, especially if they're with a friend, right? One person can sit in the IFV and they can use the laser designator, or they can play as recon or whatever. So to me, the easier fix would have been to disable all of the laser designation in the game, and I think the reason they haven't done that is because one of the major challenges to unlock stuff for the engineer class means you have to get kills on laser designated targets, and that would have caused much more of a raucous. But hey, either way, I suppose this is better than nothing, so let's just hope they fix the bug fairly soon. Okay, next up, DICE have reintroduced bots to verified experiences in Portal. So what that means is all of the benefits are now going to be back for verified experiences. You're going to be able to get weapon XP, career XP, you're going to be able to complete your challenges and whatnot. And this is what they had to say. As mentioned in our update on community servers and Portal experiences post, we temporarily removed bots from verified experiences to support healthier matchmaking. Bots have now returned to Conquest, Breakthrough and Rush. Here's what to expect with this option in verified community experiences. So first off here, each game mode now supports up to 12 bots. If bot backfill is enabled, which means that if there are no players in the server, it will automatically be filled in with bots. Matches require 8 players to start, and there will be up to 6 bots on each team. If bot backfill is disabled, matches then require 20 players to start. Bots grant reduced experience while player XP remains at 100%, similar values to multiplayer modes. And if bots are enabled, player stats will not see gains or losses such as hours played, kill death ratio, and total revives. Although they do say this is not currently working as intended and is actively being adjusted, and then of course challenges remain completable as well. Now personally, I think this is a good go-between. A lot of players are really annoyed about this for one reason or the other. A lot of purists just want to see bots removed from Battlefield entirely for whatever reason. They just don't think people should be able to play against bots. I don't really have a problem with that whatsoever. And then we have the other crowd who do want to play against bots, and they are now outraged that we're not being given full experience against them. So if you're a casual player, maybe you're not the best player in the world, right, and you just prefer the Battlefield experience against bots rather than, you know, human players, you're kind of being penalized for that. But this is the way I look at it. As they've mentioned here, bots will grant you reduced experience, so reduced, player career experience, weapon experience and all the rest of it compared to against a normal player. Now, I don't know how much that is, but I would guess it's probably somewhere around 50%. However, if I play a game of Breakthrough, let's say, against bots, I can easily get 100 kills and 10 deaths, whereas in a normal game of Breakthrough against human players, there's no way I'm maybe even getting 50 kills, never mind 100 kills, right? So even though the bots give you less experience, let's say they give you half less experience, it's much more likely that you're going to get double or more the amount of kills, and therefore the overall netted experience could actually be a little bit higher, or at least very similar to the same amount that you're getting for playing a regular game of Breakthrough or Conquest or whatever it is against normal players. And I think that's the fix they've tried to implement here. They're not making it more lucrative experience-wise to play against bots than it is human players to really curb this trend that we've seen for experience farming in Battlefield games. But at the same time, they're also not stopping people who want to play the game casually, or, you know, maybe you enjoy jumping into a game against bots just to warm up before you jump into a real round. They're not penalizing those players and making it so they can't get any experience at all. I think in practice it's going to be pretty similar, and therefore I just don't really have a problem with this. Like, if people want to play against bots, if that's the way they choose to play the game, and it's going to give them, you know, a similar amount of experience as it will for the rest of us playing the game, like, go nuts, man. Like, who am I to tell you how you should be playing the game? As long as it's not affecting my experience when I play against other players, as long as bots aren't being shoved into like every single game mode, then honestly, I'm fine with it, and I think they've found a fairly good middle ground here. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now finally, a lot of you may have noticed that 2x XP is currently active in Battlefield 6, so that means you're going to get twice as much experience for your career progression, for your weapon progression, I assume for the Battlefield progression as well. And the question I have is, if you use an experience booster, is that going to be multiplicative? Like, will you get 4 times as much experience, or will it just multiply the base experience? I don't know, I'll have to test that out. But whilst this is cool, it's fair to say it's not really gone off without a hitch. So 2 days ago, on Thursday, November the 6th, it was reported by Battlefield Bulletin here that 2x XP has been activated for PlayStation 5 users. Meanwhile, the rest of us were kind of stood around like that gif with John Travolta saying, "Where the hell is my 2x XP?" The day after, on the Friday, it was then activated apparently for all platforms, so PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, except if you were a Steam player. For us unlucky Steam players, we had to wait until today, Saturday, the day I'm putting this video out, guys. 2x XP should now be active. So what does that mean? That means PlayStation got 4 days, the EA app, Xbox, everybody else except Steam users, they got 3 days, and it seems like Steam are only going to get a couple of days, which kind of sucks in my opinion, because there are a lot of players in this game on Steam. Now, maybe it's not EA's fault, maybe it's something to do with like the back end on Steam, or I don't know, maybe there's some weird regulation that stopped them from implementing it exactly when they needed to. But I think it would be nice if they kind of compensated people and therefore made the 2x XP last maybe into Monday or Tuesday. Then again, DICE and EA were supposed to compensate users. If you remember, on day one, anybody playing on the EA app couldn't access the game for pretty much a full 24 hours. They were supposed to receive some compensation via a free battle pass and XP boosters, and a lot of people still haven't received that. A lot of you guys here on the channel keep on commenting saying, "Hey Ghost, you know, I haven't gotten my XP boosters yet, so what's going on with that?" As far as EA are concerned, they say they've already delivered it, so I don't know, guys, it's kind of weird. And another thing that's a little bit controversial with it is that apparently there is a daily experience cap in Battlefield 6, and I think the way it works is that nobody's discovered it yet because they haven't accrued enough experience to hit that cap. But now the 2x XP has kicked in, it's been discovered to be apparently 1.5 million experience per day. And this outraged user here on Reddit posted this. It's got 5,500 upvotes saying Battlefield 6 has a daily XP cap even during double XP weekend. Are you kidding me, EA? So apparently there's a daily XP limit in Battlefield 6, 1.5 million XP per day. Once you hit that, you literally earn nothing. And here's the kicker, even during double XP weekends, you can hit that cap in just, he says, 4 to 5 hours of playing. Yes, in a $70 AAA game, not a mobile free-to-play title, you're being told how much fun you're allowed to have per day. This isn't a free live service grindfest, this is a full-price shooter with a free-to-play gacha-like system glued on top. EA somehow managed to make progression time-gated in a premium game, and almost nobody's talking about it. You can buy the game, pay for cosmetics, battle pass, and now you're limited on how much XP you can earn daily? Unreal. It's disgusting and anti-player to the core. Players deserve to know this before buying. Stop pretending this is fine just because it's Battlefield. Now, I'm of two minds on this. In a way, I get what the guy is saying. I don't really like time gating in games, especially not games that I've paid the full price for to play. Like, I want access to the game as quickly as I can unlock that content. But this is nothing really new for Battlefield. We know they already time gate the battle passes, right? Every time you get a battle pass point, the amount of experience you need exponentially increases, and that is to stop you from unlocking, you know, and just going through the battle pass super fast, so that you have to log in each week, you have to do those challenges and get those all important battle pass points. I've got to say though, I think 1.5 million experience per day, that's quite a lot of experience, guys. Like, I don't think this is going to affect the majority of players. I don't think any of us really are playing the game for more than like 4 to 5 hours a day. Yeah, sure, maybe on a good Saturday or a Sunday, I guess, yeah, I can see you could spend more than that amount of time playing the game. But in the case of this individual who made that post, maybe it's somewhat for your own health. Like, if you've played for 4 or 5 hours and the way you apparently derive enjoyment from the game is by getting experience and not just playing the game for the sake of fun, perhaps it's time to take a break. You know, maybe you should go outside, touch some grass, maybe play another game or spend some time with your family, like whatever it is. I don't know, like, I don't really have a massive problem. If it was like 2 hours, yeah, okay, that would be understandable, but I'm pretty sure this is not going to affect the vast majority of players out there. I do think the reason they're putting this in is partly for player retention. You know, they know there are players out there who, once they unlock everything, they hit the max level, they've got all of the attachments for all the weapons and yada yada, they'll stop playing the game and they'll move on, and so they want them to keep logging in on a weekly basis. You know, it is partly because of that retention algorithm, and I'm not really a fan of that stuff, but I also firmly believe it's because they feel some sort of a responsibility to the players to make sure that they don't grind their arses off. I mean, we see tips and stuff in games these days saying, hey, like, I remember playing World of Warcraft, they were like, don't forget to spend some time outside with your family. That was literally like one of the in-game tips. Don't forget to go and have a life outside of the World of Warcraft, because there were literally people who would just spend their every waking moment inside of that game. So to me, it's kind of a nothing burger of an issue, but maybe I'm an outlier there? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. And then just before we end the video, I had to comment on this post here because I've been seeing more and more of these banned account screenshots over on Reddit, and basically this is people getting banned or suspended from Battlefield 6 for talking in the in-game chat. And you have to just laugh at the reasoning behind this one. This is what this guy said in the chat. He says, "Laser paint these nuts, bruh." And it seems obvious to me that he's addressing somebody on the enemy team who's laser designating him and most likely abusing the MR bug, the MR missile bug that we covered at the start of this video. And you can tell this guy is kind of just joking around. He doesn't mean this with any real offense. He's not being malicious with this. He's just kind of being a bit jokey and funny. And apparently he got banned for this. And I've seen, I can't tell you how many screenshots like this of people being banned for literally like nothing burger statements in the in-game chat. Is this the candy floss mentality that EA now have to the way that we're allowed to interact and converse with one another? Like, is that the amount of protection that we really need? Because if so, that is honestly pretty pathetic in a game for 18 plus players where you're killing each other and like, I mean, come on, dude. I really hope this is not a sign for how things are going in the future. Like, I know that EA had this internal anti-toxicity team that were working there when Battlefield 2042 was around, and they basically ended up disbanding this team eventually, thank God. And they were literally like in charge of making sure that people in the game weren't being toxic and there was no toxic things in the game. But seeing stuff like this makes me basically not want to use the in-game chat at all, especially as a content creator. You know, if I was to get banned or suspended, that effectively stops me playing the game, yes, but also shuts down my ability to create content. And so seeing statements like this, I kind of think, well, like, am I even allowed to have fun in the chat? Am I allowed to have a bit of banter, even if it's a friend on the enemy team? Like, I think I'd rather just not post anything in the chat just to be on the safe side. And that's certainly very sad indeed. Don't get me wrong, I see a lot of people posting very hateful things in the chat as well, and racist comments and such, and I firmly believe those people should be reported and they should be actioned upon. But, like, who is deciding to suspend people for comments like this, dude? Let me know what you guys think about this down below. I'm going to leave the video there for today, guys. As always, if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel, leave a like down below, and I will see you all in the next one.